Good evening, today is May 3rd, and today I'll continue to be talking about the coronavirus. So the first piece of news that I'd like to talk about is that transits and subway transits around the country are going to be faced with serious problems about reopening, and it's not just in the country, it's all over the world, and especially in New York. So New York's ability to revive its economy hinges on whether millions of daily commuters will return to public transit networks, and many people rely on the subway system. However, the subway system does need to ensure that social distancing can be done, and this is just testing the way that transportation authority can be done. Steps have gone to take in New York City, including to change workers' schedules to reduce rush hour density. A new squad of guards will patrol stations, who will report overcrowding to supervisors and directing riders to emptier train cars. There's also been many cleanings of the transit cars after all the rides have closed down. However, I think that this is a really large problem that's going to be faced, because if the economy has to open fully, then the transit has to come on, but the transit is basically designed to have people squished together and have an environment where it's extremely hard to practice social distancing. So there's always been a question of whether why the virus hits some countries around the world harder than others. And for example, the coronavirus killed many people in Iran, but almost none in the neighboring country Iraq. And it's just the demographics and the population, and why some countries are hit harder is just absolutely puzzling to many epidemiologists, and below are some of the most persuasive reasons why this may happen. The first solution for this is maybe the power of the youth. So younger people tend to have stronger immune systems, which make them likely to contract mild or symptomatic cases that are less transmissible to others, and they are just basically avoided of almost all severe certain health problems. So example of this is Africa, is the world's youngest continent with only 45,000 cases. Italy, however, one of the hardest hit countries, the national median age is 45, and this is an extremely large number. The second theory why this may happen could be heat and light. So the geography of the outbreak, which spread rapidly during the winter and slower in the summer, seems to suggest that the virus does not do well with heat and could die in the summer, which is often seen in flus. However, hot weather can repel the virus. Is just it's not a very good idea. I think is because that the virus that causes the COVID-19 is so contagious that it might mitigate any beneficial effect of heat and humidity. And there's been countries with extreme heat that have still been hit with the virus, including Brazil and Peru, all very hot countries with warm climates, but are still hit extremely hardly. However, this just be another reason why people might be just because people are not going outside and instead opting to go inside, which will promote the virus's growth and development. Another reason for this may be early lockdowns, where some countries, including Vietnam and Africa, were locking down extremely quickly, and as a result, they were spared of the virus. However, there's another side that, for example, Cambodia and Laos both had few social distancing measures, but were spared of large infection. And this is just really puzzling as to sometimes lockdowns are effective, sometimes they aren't, and sometimes even when the authorities acted late, they were still spared of the virus. And it's just scientists have no idea why. It may also just because that the virus is just not spread as widely as it has, and many people have said that we are only in the earliest stages of the virus, and that some countries, well, they just haven't been, the virus just hasn't been hitting them like it has been hitting the other countries, and that an eventual hit will be likely to come. And so this is just extremely puzzling because there's been all kinds of theories, like I've previously mentioned, but none of them fit exactly as to why the virus is acting as it is. So the third thing that I like to talk about is that this is a really interesting piece of news, is that weather forecasters and many TV news anchors are, because they have been recording at home, many of their pets have come along with them, and on this picture here we see weather forecaster Jeff Leons with his cat Betty, who has almost become a social media icon and star, and it's just that many people have seen that weather forecasts, which are previously reporting events, have become extremely